I am alive and it's great to be alive. Hello everyone, and today we're checking out one of my absolute all-time favorite Warframes, Saryn. She is 100% badass. Saryn is one of my favorite frames because I find her very versatile. I find that she has pretty decent survivability, and the amount of damage she deals is seriously insane. So I'm going to show you guys what I have on her. This is an older build, but it is tried true and through, so I have stuck with this for a long time, and I probably won't be changing it. If you guys have a different build that you like, drop a comment down below, but I have Rejuvenation, Streamline, Fleeting Expertise, Steel Fiber, Stretch, Intensify, Primed Continuity, and Vitality. And then of course I have Regenerative Molt. This is one of my top favorite augment mods. Basically, after you molt Saryn's skin, for the next 10 seconds you gain 50 health every second. It is really, really cool, and I substantially enjoy this. That stacked with the Rejuvenation gives her a lot of health regen capability, which gives her a lot of survivability later on in the game. So, I have a slightly, just barely negative duration build, but high efficiency, range, and power strength. Also, she just, oh, look at her. She looks dead sexy. Don't tell my wife. I'm sorry. Another reason I like Saryn so much is because I find her pretty much useful against just about every faction in the game. She's probably least effective against Corpus simply because of the nullifier bubbles. That really does hurt her Spore's ability to spread, but that being said, she's still got some decent survivability, and I would more than be happy using her against them. So Saryn's a really different frame. She's one of my favorite frames because I think she has some of the best synergy between her powers. So instead of just showing you one power, I'm going to show you all of them kind of all together. So her second ability is what sheds her molt, which not only distracts enemies, but if you cast it again or when the duration runs out or they kill it, it actually pops, dealing damage to enemies around it. This is fun because if you spam the ability to pop it on purpose, you can then proc damage to enemies. As you can see here, they then take toxin damage. But the best strategy to use is when you cast her molt and you cast spores onto it, which are basically these glowing little orbs. And as you can see, when an enemy damages and pops a spore, it spreads the spores, those glowy white things, to other enemies around them. That essentially causes them to take viral damage over time. Every second it takes viral damage and procs viral on them, which is super helpful. This makes her really effective against large groups of enemies because as you can see here, you can just cast your molt, cast some spores on it, and deliberately attack your molt, and look at that, I've instantly spread spores to all these enemies. And what's awesome is, if you have a continuous flow of enemies in the defense, or if you're doing a survival, it also works great. When you pop the spores, they then spread to other nearby enemies. So sometimes you'll have your spores last for quite a while, where you won't be able to remember the last time you cast some spores, and yet they will just keep on spreading and spreading. Her third ability, called Toxic Lash, allows you to instantly detonate spores upon attacking an enemy that has them, but it also adds 100% status chance for toxin and adds toxin damage to your melee. The reason this is awesome is because I love using elemental weapons with condition overload, which adds 60% melee damage per status effect on the enemy. So if I have corrosive and blast on my elemental weapon, which I do, and then I stack that with toxic lash, I'm dealing really honestly just like 180% more melee damage right off the bat. It's also awesome because it increases the amount of damage that you reduce for blocking. So if you stack that with the fact that the Silva in Aegis already reduces 80% damage because it is a sword and shield weapon, you get massive damage reductions against enemies with guns. Fuck, man, I am all fucking up today. I hope you guys like this shit, because I'm sucking balls right now. And last but not least, Saryn's ultimate ability basically just procs damage around you in a radial ability. It's not too complex, but what's kick-ass about it is that it does bonus damage and instantly pops spores that are on enemies. So I'll show you here. I will pop and spread all these spores to all enemies nearby, and all these enemies now have spores on them, and when I use my ult, you'll see it instantly detonates the spores, causing them to take massive amounts of damage. So yes, I am only on wave 4 of a CAD, but my god, this deals insane amounts of damage. Stack that with the fact that I can shed my skin and distract the enemies while healing myself. Saryn's got fantastic survivability and really high offensive capabilities. She's seriously one of my favorite frames in the game. If you want to get Saryn, you have to kill Kella Dathame. Luckily, I already have a video on that, so I'll link that down in the description below to help you guys out. And trust me when I say that this build will get you far. I can easily go into level 100 enemies right now. I just don't want to do it in the Simulacrum because it doesn't feel very natural. The enemies aren't flowing around really, and it just seems kind of boring to me. I hate going there for every single video. But yeah, Saryn is just all around probably one of the best frames in the game. That's obviously my personal opinion. You guys don't have to agree with me, but survivability, health regen, high damage output, melee boosting, and crowd control. She's just got such a great toolkit, and she's fun to play as. Like, casting all her powers in conjunction with each other keeps me busy, it keeps me occupied, and it helps me have fun playing the game. I just really like the flow of playing with her. So, I hope you guys have a kick-ass day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out!